So recently I've suffered a deep video game malaise. That is to say that I've just been uninspired and unimpressed with the recent offerings of Anthem, Apex, Division 2, or the whole Epic Store Metro nonsense. I'll probably talk about these things a little more later this week, I expect. Comically, the game that I was most interested in of late was Resident Evil 2, the remaster, and all of these, I guess, let's call them original games, have fallen very flat for me. Boring Royale also continues everywhere unabated. Now, before you guys freak out in the comments, yes, of course, I'm working on some new 40k stuff. I know this is what you guys want to see, and I want to see it too, because I love doing it, so it's coming. And getting back into telling narrative lore and re-immersing myself in 40k has had the unintended consequence that I now find myself becoming really passionate about painting miniatures and miniature-related things again lately. Which is a good thing because I feel very, very satisfied in doing this, and recently as well I stripped some minis, which is to remove the paint from them, to very good effect, and that felt extremely satisfying. As an example, this guy is a classic Rogue Trader Space Marine Terminator, and I've managed to bring him up to a fantastic finish by stripping the paint off, and I'll be painting him up to, I hope, as good a standard as I can. And to that end, this is one of my Ultramarine Sternguard, which I've been working through and finished this week, and while I have plenty to improve upon, I'm pretty happy with it. And I already said that I wanted to do more diorama overviews as well. I've not forgotten about this, it's still on my to-do list. Some of you have even suggested that I do some painting videos or miniature related videos, and I may consider doing this, but as only an amateur painter, I'm not sure if people would be interested, but you know, I guess there's only one way to find out, and that's to try it out. Also, some of you I know are interested in tabletop gaming but unsure how to start, either worrying about the price or how complex it is. Now, I'm likely going to be taking a look at this in the near future as well as some other bits and pieces that will attach along with that. And that leads me nicely onto my next point and the point of this video. So recently, due to a friend visiting me, we decided to break out the old Necromunda box. Now, if you don't know what Necromunda is, it's an additional boxed game that has been part of 40k since 1995, I believe. It focuses on gang warfare in the unforgiving horrors of the Underhive, and these are the lower levels of Imperial Hive cities. In the depths and the darkness, drug-fueled gangs are fighting each other for resources and survival in the horrific conditions below. And playing this again recently reminded me just how much fun this game is. You can play it in a fairly simple open version where you just interpret the rules as you do, same as in 40k basically, or you go into the full RPG mode where you have loot and character stat upgrades and so on. You can create your own gang formations, build their equipment and so on. And while they've not technically been included in the game itself so far, I felt inspired enough this week to pick up an eBay bargain and grab some rat skin renegades. These were units that I always really loved the look of, but never was able to purchase as a kid. Now, Ratskins are basically tribal fighters who are at one with the nightmarish, appalling conditions of the lower Hive. They likely came about during the Age of Strife, and they've learned to survive in basic tribalistic ways. Plus, they just look really cool with their animal skins and bones. They remind you very much of sort of Native Americans you might see from kind of like, I guess, Last of the Mohicans, if you know that sort of final part in that film with the kind of combination of sort of knives and axes and all sorts of different things. And then you've got the other major gangs like Escher, Goliath, Orlok, Van Saar, Cawdor and Dulak. So where are we getting to with this? Well, I recently thought it would be great fun if I could set up a table and then play versus the live stream chat. I discussed it with the guys on Discord and we came up with a few ways to do this, and so far I've played 2 games on the stream and it's actually worked out better than I anticipated. It's fairly simple. The stream has one gang and I have another, and we currently have just really been roughly testing the concept. So what we do is we have a proper vote through the bot in chat for decisions requiring precise calls, but for faster choices I just ask the stream to choose on, say, options requiring a 1, 2 or 3, and the first matching 3 choices by the stream chat carry the decision. And this whole thing is in a very rough state right now. We're not using every single rule either because I wanted to keep it, moving, and a lot of people don't know obviously all of the rules, and I just wanted to make it more simple. It's just me testing the idea and seeing how it works. I want to get more of a HD top-down camera as well for the tactical view, better than I have now. I want to design a bit of overlay so it's smarter and more clear for people to see what's going on. If we really got into it, I'd also create the character tables as overlays to pull up so people could see who has what and so on. We also had some other ideas, like say starting at the beginning of the round, you have tactical options to just move in that first move, where people don't actually have to vote on individual characters, so it speeds things up a little bit. An intro video, so we can just link to that so people know what's going on, they get an idea of what it's all about if they don't know. More color-coded bases, obviously, so people can see what's happening top down. Some different grenade icons, so people can see at a glance, just looking at it, who has what grenades. Icons on screen to show whose turn it is. Consider putting the on-screen chat there as well, so that if people are watching these videos back, it's a little bit easier for them to follow. Now, a few people have asked if I intended to put these on YouTube, and the answer was basically not really. I didn't really set out to think of that. However, I decided as an experiment I would throw up a few highlights here from the last session and see just what you guys kind of generally think about the feel and the concept if you want to see full rounds put up here. If you don't, that's fine, you can just say so, but if you do want to see this and it's something that I will be doing, then, you know, go for it. If you want to join in, I'll be streaming this again on Wednesday, 7 PM British time. That's this coming Wednesday. Link for my Twitch, as always, is down below in the video notes there. So tell me all your thoughts on this stuff today, guys, for the channel. Gaming, miniatures painting, tabletop videos. I want to know what you think. So enjoy, and remember that this is a rough working test, so cut me some slack, but hopefully you enjoy the idea. And if people like this concept, if people come to the streams when I do it, then I'm going to obviously want to move forward with it, and that means creating custom boards, all sorts of different scenarios. Maybe then we, you know, even take this forward into kill team, and who knows where we can go down the line. And it's all, you know, an improving process, listening to your feedback, trying to make it more enjoyable. So as always, thanks for watching, guys. More stuff coming up this week, and I'll see you in the next one. Tree beam. More toxic waste here. Bit of a destroyed building. Some, you know. If you guys are new to this, jump in and I'll help you learn, and you can, and if you enjoy, I was very surprised. People yesterday enjoyed this far more than I anticipated, and I actually enjoyed it far more than I anticipated as well yesterday. I consider this edge is a bit tight, but he can get past that. All right, so options now. Do you want to try and have a shot at one of my guys, or do you want to stay put? You could take cover, for example, or you could potentially even move forward again. Not sure if that would be the wisest move, but remember, people have to hit in this. You know, it's not to hit in this is not always the easiest thing. So if your guys are caught out in the open, it is not the end of the world. Also in this, when they get hit, if they take damage, they're not always immediately killed. All right, so they'll be seriously injured or wounded, so they're not immediately out the game if they take like a wound or whatever. What's this? I think you should definitely hop to the tank and start delivering paint. You want hop? Do you mean hop up to the tank? You're saying you want me to stand him up on the top of this? Fucking hell. Alright, I'll give you that option. Okay, let's go for... Okay, options then. Okay, 3 options. We'll have a proper vote, right? Listen. That was before he moved. I'm giving that cover, Mouse. I'm giving that option. I just meant to move up to the tank. Okay, alright, okay. I thought you were going to say, like, stand up on top of the tank and be like, fucking bring it! Just, like, really into it. Okay. Alright, let's give you guys a choice. I'm going to give you the choice of have a shot at one of my guys here, which are in... they're not in the open for him. In fact, he can probably only see my leader, and even then she's in sort of... Actually, is he even... I'd say he could take a shot, but she'll be in sort of probably heavy cover. It's probably a... If he's like that, alright, and you're looking at him, you can see half that base, right? So from that basis... He's partially in cover, all right? So you would get like a -1 to hit on that, all right? However, if he's like this, okay, if he's like that, you can only see a very small amount of his base if you're looking at him from this direction of my red arrow, okay? And so he'd be considered in full cover. Obviously, also, if he's like that, he would also be in full cover. And that is that. That is turn 2 complete. Alright, so let's have a little overview of where we are at. So remember, the general goal for this one is for you guys and for me. What we're trying to do is I want to get 3 of my guys on your starting side, and you are trying to get 3 on my starting side. However, we can also just win by killing each other, and one of the teams breaks and runs away. Okay, so it's basically like a turf war skirmish. So where is everybody? Like I said, right now as well, it's a bit tricky to maybe see some of this stuff. These are things that I have plans to work on and clarify, because if people are enjoying this, I'll probably take a little break for a week or 2 and then paint this shit up, come back, and we'll blitz it. Okay. I have got 2 people at the top. My heavy weapon here, so I've got 3 guys in this little area. My leader is here. I've got 2 people embedded in the cover here, so 1 and 2. Right, so that's my guys are all along this line here. Okay. You guys have got your leader up the top there with a guy behind him, twin axe. You've got 1 guy in cover there, 1 guy in cover there, and 2 behind this barricade right here who are waiting to either shoot or move. That's the state of play. Right. So let us move on. First of all, let's roll to see who gets the first turn on this round. So this is for me. And it's another 6. This is good. Yesterday, you guys got to go first the whole way. 2 for you guys. Bad luck. So I go first again. All right, I'm going to take a shot first with this guy right here. My las gun. So she's just basically stood on the corner of that piece of cover there. Sort of kneeling down, if you will. So she's going to take a shot. Las gun. Okay, it's got a short range, 16 inches, which gives a +1 accuracy modifier, right? So she's going to have a +2 accuracy modifier because this guy right here in the front, he's well within 16 inches. That's only, obviously you can see about 11. So she's going to aim, right? So this is another basic action. You can aim your weapon. Aim is basically 1 basic action and shoot is a second action, all right? And basically, because she's sitting here, that means it's going to give her a +2 benefit, okay? And then he is obviously behind heavy cover. He's in cover, so that would ordinarily be -2, so it cancels out. So what that means is that she needs to get a 4 or more to hit, okay? Here we go. I need a 4 to hit this guy. I get a 6. Okay. So now she's hit him. Now we need to see if he becomes wounded or /damaged. Now she's got a strength of 3 and he has a toughness of 4. So that means I need to get a 5+ to actually damage him, which is unlikely, obviously. Except that I get another 6. He is actually taking a wound from that, which means that he then has to save. Now there is no armor penetration on this, and I am shooting him in the front. Now remember, your Goliath guys have iron or steel shielding on the front of their chest. If you're shooting them in the front, then they get a 5+ save instead of the standard 6+ save. So let's roll to see if your guy saves, guys. And he does not. So that means that we now have to roll. So your guy has taken a wound, all right? What we do now is we roll an injury dice, okay? Roll an injury dice. So this icon means seriously injured. That means he goes face down. This is death, which basically means he's removed from the table. And this is a flesh wound, where you basically put a flesh wound marker. And what that does is reduces their toughness. If their toughness is reduced to 0, that also means they are removed from the table. Also, if he was seriously injured and you roll this, he will take a flesh wound and stand up, or he'll be pinned anyway. So, here we go. What's going to happen to him? Seriously injured. He basically... I'm actually astonished that happened, because firing at him with a las gun at that range should do basically 0, so I'm quite impressed that she actually managed to have that happen. She's also amazingly camouflaged right in here. That's this order. If loot founds a gang and allows the audience to steer them through a continuous string of games, it would make better use of the negatives and buffs provided throughout play. What we could do sometime in the future, if this all goes well... Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Sorry about that. If this all went well, we could do a campaign day where they sort of skill up through the day, you know, do like a 24-hour stream almost. You know, the exploits of my gang through 24 hours, you know, it could work. You know, all sorts of stuff could work. Gotta wonder how much all of these set pieces and characters pieces cost together. Set pieces? I made all this shit. I just made this. This is fucking polystyrene. This is a packing case that I melted with polystyrene cement and then painted grey. This is a bridge I made out of lollipop sticks. Like ice cream sticks. This is a World War II tank that I melted with a soldering iron, then painted black and dry brushed it. Most of this other stuff is just polystyrene that I've painted black. And so on. Luton, he got seriously injured, so any friendly model within 3 inch has to make a cool test to see if they're okay. Oh yeah, I always forget about that. Yeah, so that's true. Basically, when one guy gets seriously injured, if any other models are within 3 inches, they basically see him take the hit, and they're like, fucking hell, and they get a bit panicked, so they have to take essentially a break test to make sure that they don't sort of have a huge nervous breakdown. So both of these guys here are going to have to take a cool test, which kind of makes it sound like they're just worried about their street cred, but actually it's to see whether or not they have a mental breakdown. So this guy is... So we'll roll for Korg first, okay? So Korg on his cool test... Oh, this is 2d6, isn't it? I always forget it's on 2d6. 2d6, Korg needs to get 5+, okay? Which he easily does. Bone over there, Bone requires also a 5+ on 2d6. He also gets easily with 10. So they're fine, no problems there for you guys. Right. So, colour me impressed. From the camera angle, at least the pieces look very well done, and the paint job on the missing credit, it's not. But I have a whole box of scenery. And this over here, this piece right here, I mean, it's just literally... See what that is? That's just a piece of polystyrene tray. And then what I've done is that's model railway girders that I've sort of dry brushed rust, pushed into it. And I've got little pieces of wire that I've pushed into it to look like oh, what's it called? The word's gone out of my bloody mind. Rebar. Then I just glued some other bits of polystyrene and I just paint it black and dry brush it. It takes seconds. It's easy to make. Making scenery is piss easy. It takes seconds. You know, get something, cut it up really shit, paint it black, dry brush it grey, done. It's making scenery for tabletop gaming is like the easiest thing ever, and also very satisfying to make stuff look all kind of rubbly and stuff like that. Anyway, so moving on. Right. So I don't get a point or anything for that because he's not out of the game, but he is down. Right. So that's her turn done. So it's time for you guys. So probably need an overview of the situation. Then rebar this sour fruit thing that we make pies off. That's rhubarb. Living in a hive does need a certain level of chill, it's true. But thank you, Effort. Anyway, yeah, it's all good. Effort, this is nothing. If people enjoy me doing this more often, I'll tell you right now, I will make a board that is 100 times more detailed and better than this. Like, I'll make a permanent, like, maybe 4 section. I already started planning it out yesterday. I've drawn some sketches of what I would like to put together. Right, anyway, okay, so you guys have got options from here. Your leader, the axe guy, you've got a guy in cover here, so you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys. I can show you a little top-down view as well to just remind where we are. So remember, there's this corridor up the top, right, which is where your guys here are looking to move. They could potentially move down that corridor or shoot or do whatever down that corridor. You've got 2 guys here on this middle, and you've got another guy right here. So which one would you like to move, guys? And then we'll decide what to do. So you have at the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, let's have a vote, please, on which guy you want to move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the chat. Let's go. This game might not be played to completion. It's just to give you a flavour. Right, we'll go with El Crack Boy then. Right, first of all, we've got to see if you hit, guys, which is his standard ballistic skill, which is going to be 4+. He's definitely in range. He doesn't even have to move. We know this already. Actually, he could aim, could he not, with the grenade? If he stays still and he's in range, he could aim. You can do that modifier, can't you, Yuppie? Which then would mean he only needs a 3+ to hit. You can aim still with a grenade. You can throw carefully, I would have thought. Yep, you can aim with a grenade. Yep, okay. Right, in that case, it's a 3+ to hit for you guys. So he's throwing on the top down. Your guy over here is throwing at my guy there. Looks quite a crazy ass distance, but he can do it. Right, 3+ to hit with the crack grenade. Pray that doesn't go down. feel bad because I feel like that didn't roll properly. I was shaking it in my hand, but it definitely slid in. At the end of the game, I'm going to... I had this discussion yesterday, because whenever I'm rolling the dice, I'm throwing it like this, look. And then I throw it in. But the problem is, sometimes when they go in, they land, and they just skid along. They don't really roll in the box. Which I always hate that, because it looks like you've kind of just gone and sort of put it in there. Whenever I'm shaking it, I'm always shaking it like this, and then I just ping it in like that. But I think I'm going to give you guys the benefit of the doubt, and I'm going to give you another roll on that, okay? There we go. I'm going to give you a better, because it didn't really go in properly, I don't think. So I'm going to give you another roll on that one. Right, that's a hit. Right. Okay, so that's a hit with that one on me. Yappy, can I show a link to photos of my Necromunda? Let me do it at the end, Yappy, when I can step away and actually permit you. Right. Crack grenades, strength 6. So basically, if this wounds her, she's fucked. Right, so it's 6 on her toughness 3, which is only a 2 plus. 2 plus to wound. Here we go. Does. Right, which means I've got to throw an injury on her for that. She's seriously injured. And she goes. No check for you on the grenade. Oh, actually, no. You got to just do a straight up ammo check, which is 4 plus. You'll get to keep your crack grenades. You're getting all the rolls. Hey, Owls, welcome to the end of the stream. Right, okay. So that is that. So now we have to do an annoying bottle test, which is going to be more difficult for me than it is for you. Right, bottle test basically is D6 plus however many I've got seriously injured at the moment, which is surprisingly not my leader, because she got that wound, remember, but I have got 2. So it's D6 plus 2, no higher than a 6 for me. There's a 3, which makes it 5, which makes me safe. Right, you guys, I don't think even have to make a bottle test, because all your guys are up. Right, okay. That... Oh, actually, no. Then I have to try and salvage my guys. So now I make injury rolls to try and save my guys up here. So basically, let's roll for my heavy weapon. He stays down. And for my other one, flesh wound and comes... Right, and that's the end of that chapter. Cool. Right, so that is basically Necromundas. So, you know, I think that was game. I would say that you guys overall, no victory points scored, but you guys have, I would say, got the upper hand at this point in time. I've got 2 people seriously injured, which means I've got to bottle check every single, like, you know, turn from now on at the moment. And obviously over here, I could predict the outcome of this next turn, you know. Because it's very obvious what's going to happen. Up the top here, the next turn, what's going to happen is your leader is going to come over and coup de grace, take one of my guys off the board. And then it would be unlikely that anybody else is going to get to him before he could knock out the other as well. So that's basically going to, you know, kill 2 of my characters. So you've basically got 2 kills in the next turn on me. Over here, on the other side, down here, in the middle, my leader's going to stand up next turn, and she's going to shoot back, and maybe these 2 in the middle have us shooting back and forth. Over here is where you've got these other 2. Who knows what's going to happen there. On the next turn, you have got your heavy, and your heavy would be able to then return fire at these guys. And maybe he could also, so across there. So maybe he could deal some nasty damage as well. Then down here on the edge of the table, where my guys are shooting at this guy who's been moving towards them, there's a fair chance that maybe if they focus their fire, they could knock him out. Either way, you guys are in the better position because you would have probably next turn taken 2 of my squad, essentially a third of my team would be taken off the board, which puts me in a really struggling position. So yeah, that would be a very interesting one. So I would say I give this game to you guys. I think you did well on that one. It's all been good. Hope you enjoyed.